Now, we already covered winter fragrances niche edition, but of course we got to do one for the designer fragrances because it is still winter and there's a plethora of designer fragrances that I think are worthy of the winter season. So let's go on into it. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. These are Maria here. Yes, we're doing winter designer fragrances. Lipstick of the day today, everyone. I'm rocking out with, this is a new release from the new MAC Nudes collection that just came out, and this is actually one of the new colors, and this is called Cool Teddy, which is this pinky beige cool toned color, as you can see it on my lips. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and as always, everything on my face as well as all the fragrances I discuss will be in the description box below, so you do not have to ask questions about it. Next up, we have fragrance of the day, and this is more of a spring summer fragrance to me, and this is none other than Prada Paradox, the original one. This is one I did pick up during the holiday season, so I am taking my time to get to know it better. Full dedicated review will be coming sooner rather than later. However, I have reviewed its other two flankers. The newest one, the Virtual Flower, that review went up not too long ago, and I did review the Prada Paradox, the Intense version, last year, so definitely check out those dedicated reviews at your own leisure. But alas, the fragrance of the day is the OG, and that is the Prada Paradox fragrance. And now let's get into these designer fragrances for winter. Let's start out with an OG, one of the oldest ones in the collection here, one of the oldest ones to be released too, to be fair. And this is from Chanel, you all. And this is Chanel's Coco Noir. Look at the black bottle. I love the opaque lacquered situation that's going on in this one. This is a tonka bean scent. This is a patchouli fragrance, which if you know Chanel fragrances, they're gonna have some patchouli in it. There's also jasmine in here, bourbon vanilla. And there's some rose in here too. Classic Chanel DNA, but a little darker in my opinion. And that's why I think this one is excellent for the winter time. I enjoy this one, say it's like even like a power suit fragrance. I do agree with it for that. So this one is definitely exudes confidence. You know who you are wearing this one. So that's why I enjoy a Chanel Coco Noir fragrance. Plus because the DNA is so iconic, it does garner compliments at the same time. So why not get respect and compliments all at once out of one bottle? And that again is Chanel's Coco Noir. Now the next one is my baby. And if you've been watching me for years, this is no stranger to you or the channel. Dior Addict. I tell you all every winter season how much I love this one. I've been purchasing this one since I was 16 years old. This one and I are together. We thick as thieves. I'm just saying. So Dior Addict, you all. Bourbon vanilla orange blossom in here, y'all. Rose, a whole bunch of other things. This is so rich. This is one of the original complex designer fragrances for me, and that's why it definitely moved me at a young age, and it's still in my collection to this day. I keep repurchasing it. But this was the fragrance that taught me that I liked the bourbon vanilla before I even knew what that was. But this right here, Night Flower, this is rich, this is dense. This is another one that is also a power fragrance. It can be kind of bossy, but I do enjoy wearing this one more so at night though. This one was like even a date night scent for me for years before, of course, my collection grew. But it still has a place in my collection to this day, but in particular in cold weather. So you all, Dior Addict, highly recommend checking this one out. An oldie but goodie and still good to this day. Now, of course, we couldn't do a designer fragrance list without Tom Ford because Tom Ford has a huge collection. Whether you love it or hate it, they got something for everybody in their lineup. I gotta be fair about that. And you know, this is one that just screams winter, and I only reach for it in the winter time because how thick this is to me. Tom Ford's Noir de Noir, I mean, it just screams dark and decadent because of the name. So you all, key notes in here: dark rose, we got truffles in here too, and there's patchouli in this fragrance. Truly 100% a unisex fragrance. This right here is so dark and rich. This is one, I didn't like it initially. It took me multiple times to try it, but I kept smelling it in the dead of summer, which is a big no-no for how dense this is. This is a cold weather fragrance, particularly winter, because even fall still doesn't do it justice for me. It has to be absolutely cold outside. We're wearing coats, hat, and scarves. That's what I'm talking about. But this one, dark, rich. The truffle in here is something serious, and the patchouli in here gives a little bit of an earthy aspect. So it's a dirty patchouli, I will say that. So if you're not a fan of dirty patchoulis, you're not gonna like the Noir de Noir, but this is one, test it on skin, spray it on skin, walk away and come back to it. Because again, this was not a love at first sniff. This was a love over time that grew on me. And that again is none other than Tom Ford's Noir de Noir. Next fragrance we have, you all, is from the iconic line of YSL, and this is YSL's Black Opium Le Parfum. Even though technically this fragrance smells completely different from the other to me because of how the note breakdown is. This is a straight up vanilla bomb. There's literally 4 types of vanilla in this fragrance. And this is one you all know, I told you I wasn't the biggest fan of when it first came out. However, I've now had this bottle going on 2 years. This one has gotten better over time. So this one was to now it's like a like. It's not a love, let me be clear, but this is a like, and I recognize a lot of people like vanilla during this time of year, and this one fits the bill. I gotta give it that respect. It's gotten richer. The vanilla in here is sweeter and it's darker. So I'm like, okay, Now I like you. Now I like you. So this is one, as the time goes on, my feelings for it grow. So I gotta give it that respect. And a lot of people tend to like the Le Parfum version as well. One thing about the Black Opium line, there is one for everyone, but in particular for me, this one is the best one for winter, in my opinion. And that again is the YSL Black Opium Le Parfum version. The next fragrance we have is Prada Paradox, the Intense version. This one, they truly made it to be a cold weather version. I 100% agree with this. You all remember the story. I picked it up in fall, and this one was a certified hit for me. This one is still my favorite. I gotta say that right now. This one, because again, this was the one that moved me and I bought it on site. There was no deliberation about it. Prada Paradox, the Intense. Yes. So the main thing in this one that I enjoyed, yes, this is a neroli scent, bergamot and all that, but they added moss in this one. The moss in this one, y'all, and the bourbon vanilla in it makes it thicker and richer to me. It goes from a typical fruity floral type of scent to one that's kind of bossed up. Oh, and by the way, this one hugs some fabric and leaves a trail. Worn this to many a social event, and it gets compliments. So I highly recommend the Prada Paradox, the Intense version, for the winter time, because it actually can hold up to the cold weather. The next fragrance we're going to talk about, this one is a little bit controversial, a little bit polarizing, and this is one that I was on the hate train for at first, but then I changed my mind on it once I really played in it and understood it. And I'm talking about none other than the fall release from Burberry, and that is Burberry Goddess, the Intense. This scent came out, it was still hot, it was still coming out of summer going into fall. A lot of us smelled it then. It was like, what is this? This was horrible. This scent, again, it is the Intense. We should have waited till it got colder, because this is much better in cold weather, in particular in winter. 100% about that. So my opinion has changed. That's why I tell you all to sometimes try scents in different seasons, because you might hate it in one season and then absolutely love it in another season. That happens with me all the time here on the channel, and that's why I tell y'all that. But Burberry Goddess, the Intense, this was built for winter weather for me. Lavender, a whole bunch of vanilla in the middle, you all. And there's patchouli in this one. The patchouli and the lavender do jump out the most at you, and I feel like that's why a lot of women did not like this one, because those scents together, they can pull a little bit more masculine, and the patchouli can be a little dirty sometimes. However, this is one, as it wears on the skin, then all of the vanillas come out in the middle of it. The vanillas get louder and they start to take over and become the stars of the show. And I'm like, okay, now we get it. But for that reason, this one is a winter weather scent, because it has that oomph. The patchouli does give it the oomph, so it's needed. It just needs to go to the background. You know, it's one of those type of fragrances. So this is one, if you tried it back when it first came out, it was still warm outside and you hated it, I highly recommend trying it again, the Burberry Goddess, because this one did get better, and this one got better because of the cooler weather. Next fragrance, you all, I've been talking about this one lately because I have missed it, and this one is an OG of the channel, you all, Mont Blanc Signature. This one is such a fluffy, creamy scent, and it's so good for winter weather. Amazing. I'm glad they still make it. They even got gift sets for it and everything now. This scent is just that good. So Mont Blanc Signature, you all, keynotes, we got clementine in here. We have a lot of vanilla in here, and we have a lot of musk at the bottom. So it's like that citrusy, tangy, but creamy vanilla base dry down. Oh, and by the way, this one holds up and it hugs some fabrics too. You just smell like a fluffy clementine cloud, and it works for me. The vanilla's in it is why I say this one is a winter scent without it smelling too dark. The clementine in this fragrance still gives it a brightness and a happy effect. And I'm like, I really enjoy this. And I haven't really smelled this fragrance anywhere else, even though I know so many people are making scents now. Everybody named Mama got a fragrance line and things start to smell the same. But this scent, even after all these years, still smells unique to me, and I enjoy this one. It's a beautiful, again, citrusy vanilla fragrance and musky scent. Gorgeous. And that again is Mont Blanc Signature. And the last fragrance I want to mention, this is one that really flew under the radar for a lot of people. I even told y'all in this dedicated review, it flew under the radar for me. But this is one I'm intrigued by because this one has range. And I'm talking about none other than from the house of Mugler. And this is Angel Fantasia that came out. There is a men's version. I am talking about the ladies version, the feminine version. This is a bourbon vanilla fragrance, an ambery scent, you all. But before you get there, there's pineapple and coconut in this scent. So that's why I say this fragrance has range. I reviewed this scent back in the summertime when I got it, but this is so thick still that it can actually cut through the cold weather. This is good for when you get tired of just smelling like straight vanilla all the time and you want to like switch it up and do something different. You want maybe a little bit of those tropical notes because you're kind of starting to long for warmer weather and whatnot. This is the fragrance that does that because again, you still get the wintry base notes, but you still get those bright citrusy tropical notes too. This is good for that. That's why I say this fragrance has range. Oh, by the way, the patchouli in this hugs some skin too. So that's why I say this is a scent for when you kind of like, oh, it's starting to get a little nice outside, but it's still definitely jacket weather or hoodie weather. This is the scent for that to me. It's helping me to transition and start to think about warmer days ahead. So that's why I highly recommend checking out Mugler's Angel Fantasia. So all right, everyone, that wraps up this winter designer fragrances that I highly recommend for the season. These are scents that have been bringing me joy, scents that are jumping out to me. And I just, you know, some of these are kind of scents that maybe smelled at a different time, wasn't feeling it, but now I'm like, oh no, their season is winter. It wasn't summer or it wasn't spring. So that's why this list is built the way it is. So we got some redemption stories here in this video. By the way, a majority of these already have dedicated reviews on the channel. So if you want to know more about them, definitely watch those dedicated reviews. You all know I love a good dedicated review here because, hey, sometimes fragrances just need a little bit more in-depth, you know, conversation about them. But all right, everyone, I will catch y'all in the next video. I will read your comments when I can. And yeah, I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye, y'all.